Choose your Pokkén. If you hold the last hit of a homing attack, it will cause your opponent to guard break. When a guard break occurs in field phase, it will cause a phase shift. Use a charged up homing attack and cause a guard break. When you're up against an opponent with a tough block, charge up a homing attack to shake them up. During duel phase, there are actions you can use that quickly link up Pokémon moves. This is also a type of cancel. By using cancels, you will be able to freely link up your actions. And based on the type of Pokémon move, you may also be able to deal consecutive hits. Try to cancel this action and land consecutive hits with a Pokémon move. Your opponent has pinned you down with repeated ranged attacks. In times like these, you should try jumping to ward off their attacks. If your opponent is close enough when you jump, you can strike back during the opening in their ranged attack. If you find timing your jumps right to be too tricky, you can always try a block and try to move in closer for an attack. Ranged attacks can be a real pain, huh? The way they chase after you like that. It's times like these you can use a step technique to negate their homing abilities. Use some well-timed steps to avoid an incoming ranged attack. During duel phase, when your opponent launches a powerful attack while jumping, you can use anti-air actions to effectively intercept their attack. When in a high stance, you can press the Y button to use anti-air actions. Use the Y button while in a high stance to intercept an incoming jump attack. Keep it up. If you block against an attack that leaves a big opening, it will give you the chance to strike back. If you launch your attack fast enough, the opponent will be left unable to block against it. Pull it off, and you're guaranteed to deal some damage. Block against your opponent's incoming attack and swiftly strike back. By knocking your opponent's battle Pokémon into the wall, you'll leave them open for some follow-up attacks. By effectively using the walls, you can unleash some actions that normally only knock down your opponent and deal some massive damage. Try to land some wall combos. Okay!
Tutorial finished.
Which Pokémon are you battling with? In close combat, it's important to understand what the situation will be like after each attack. For instance, after you land one of your moves, you usually have a small window of time where you can move while your opponent is still stunned. Which means you can move in for another attack. On the other hand, if your opponent uses a block against you, they'll be able to make their next move before you can. Your best bet in such situations is to keep your cool and just use a block. It might also be a good idea to try to pull off a counterattack. Also, when your attack misses its mark, you'll be left completely open to your opponent. So make sure to try to only use attacks at a distance you know will hit your opponent. If you're pressed up against the wall when a phase shift from dual phase to field phase occurs, you'll be blasted off the walls like this. You'll take some damage when this happens. But I guess, if you think of it as your chance to break away from the wall and reposition yourself, it doesn't really seem so bad. If it gets launched by a powerful attack, your Pokémon will automatically perform a mid-air recovery. After a mid-air recovery, it will be temporarily invulnerable to attacks. Press forward on the plus control pad when this happens, and you can change the direction of its mid-air recovery. While you're falling back down, you can also use the plus control pad to slightly change the direction of your fall. When two ranged attacks collide, the stronger of the two may completely negate the other. If both are at about the same level, they will cancel each other out. When you know you can't beat your opponent in a clash of ranged attacks, it's best to just block or jump to dodge those attacks. You know, you can actually recover some of the damage you take. You can recover this recoverable HP by causing a phase shift. You can also recover this recoverable HP by using Synergy Burst or via the effects of support Pokémon. Don't forget that during Synergy Burst, you will gradually recover your recoverable HP. Keep in mind that you can also lose recoverable HP. If your opponent causes a phase shift while you're in field phase, you'll lose some of your recoverable HP. If you attack while jumping, such as by pressing the X button while in high stance, you'll be able to launch your attacks while avoiding low ground level attacks. In that same style, anti-air actions will easily win over higher placed attacks. No matter which case, the point is that both, when matched up, will have the unilateral advantage over the other. I'm sure I've already told you how battle stages come in all sorts of different shapes and sizes, but the terms that determine how synergy power appears differ between battle arenas too. If you take the time to study the stages themselves, you'll be able to use the terrain to your advantage.
Tutorial finished.